Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're continuing with the Civic all-wheel drive project here. Trying to get as much of this knocked out as I can. You know, the faster I get this car done, the faster I can move on to other stuff like the convertible. I am so amped for that car. You have no idea. I'm just like, every day I think about it and I can't wait to start working on it, but I don't want to start working on it over there. So we're just going to continue to collect parts while it's sitting over there. I've been going over that car inch by inch and seeing if there's anything catastrophically wrong, and I'm not finding anything else, so I think that one's a go. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're getting the turbo onto this thing today. Finally, the exhaust manifold has shown up 3 months later. So today we're going to get the manifold in the car, wastegate mounted, turbo clocked, and then we could start figuring out where all the plumbing's got to go. I got to get a list together so he can order up the tubing that I may need from my favorite supplier, Ace Race Parts. I've talked about them many of times. I think they're the best supplier for Summit. Got like 9,000 things for a little fitting, so I can finally mount the fuel regulator the right way on this. I think they're the best supplier when it comes to tube, especially stainless. Their stuff is so perfect and you can't beat the price of it. So we'll be ordering all of the tubing material from Ace Race Parts. Hopefully I get that list banged out today and we can start to get everything ordered and we'll go from there. What we have is this is all my Honda guys who knows what we're talking about here. All my Ford guys probably don't know. This is a KLM top mount V-band 60 mil wastegate manifold for a K series. Now, as much as I can't stand this company because I think their customer service is absolutely atrocious and they would never get a dime from either of us ever, their work is good. They build nice crap. I mean, you can't, and this is heavy duty thick wall crap. I mean, this manifold's got to be 35 pounds. It is very nice. It is nicely done. Gorgeous fabrication. You know, you could see in there the turbo star. We talked about that building my manifolds, but it's all, you know, it's just a really nice collector. It's very well done. It's a nice piece. If they would get their customer service together, they'd probably be one of the leaders in this industry, but their customer service is 100% trash. And I don't care who hears it or has an opinion about it, it's true. If a company like this doesn't have a phone number listed for you to get in touch with them, they're trash. That's red flag territory. Anyway, we are putting a Gen 5 Turbo Smart compressed gas wastegate on. I think this is a compressed. No, I don't think it's compressed gas. I think we got away from doing the CO2. So I love Turbo Smart. It's all I'll ever run. And this is a big mamma jamma. Big old 60 power gate. That is a big bitch, but you know what? It's smaller than tiles, and I think it performs better. And it's definitely easier to take apart because of this ring. Where's my... Let me get the fire ring out here. We can make sure stuff is fitting. Yep, so that's probably going to be somewhere in that neighborhood. I do have to plumb this whole thing, all the boost controller hoses, but he's utilizing a single 4-port boost controller, which is the Fueltech is going to control. So that's for the outlet. Look how big that is. 60 mil gates are just massive. It's such a pain in the ass with the fire ring and springing. Yeah, man, that's badass, huh? Big turbo shit. I love building stuff like this. It's just so freaking cool, all these parts and everything going together. I'm not gonna get this crazy tight because I need to be able to clock it. Now let's open the big box. I'm not a Precision Turbo fan. I had a bad run-in with them years ago, but They make a lot of power in the import world with them. Brand new. This is a Precision 6870 Gen 2 6870 ball bearing HP with a 96 AR stainless V-band housing on it. Oh, there you go. This is build sheet. Wow. Cool build sheet. This is the exhaust, I believe. That can't be right. I don't know what that's for. Oh, no, don't know what that's for. You got a turbo guard for it as well. 3 5/8 V-band clamp. 3 5/8 V. You got 2 of the same V-band clamps, and I don't know why. Are they both? It looks like that sits a bit odd. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know why I have a different vision in my head, but this is a very expensive setup. Well, V-band is life, though. All right, manifold's on. It fits quite nice, actually. If the motor ever has to come out, I'm gonna lopping these studs clean off, because this is what I kept hitting on. I might lop them off anyway. Get my air saw in here. It's tink, 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 tink. Yeah, it's a big old 60 mil wastegate, ton of room. Like I said, it goes down like this, and it's gonna have to come out and up and around. It's gonna be fun. Now, let's try to mount the turbo. See if I give you guys a bird's eye view here. Probably actually want it like that. Whew. Oh, that hits the freaking firewall. Yep, it hits the firewall. What? I think that's the only place that it hits. So I think we're gonna might just have to give this a little taparoo right there. Yeah, everywhere else seems to clear. I could rotate it down in a way. Looks pretty good. I obviously have to rotate the front housing. That ain't gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut these studs off. It's gonna be tight to the downpipe. You can see how tight it is. But man, how nice does that look? Huh? Whew. Starting to look like a race car. Let me get that thing situated more. Let me get that front housing clocked. I don't know if we, yeah, I'm gonna have to clock the center section, so I might just wait. I'm gonna loosen these, because if I clock the center section, it's gonna rotate this up. So let's clock the center section first, and then we'll get back and see how everything looks. So we got everything pretty much where it's gonna be. I'm not a big fan that it's cocked a little bit, but if you put it straight, it's on the firewall. And this is not a solid motor mount car, so there are race mounts, but there's gonna be a little bit of play. I think you know, it'd rather just keep it off the firewall a little bit instead of denting it. I obviously left this loose, but the center section did come up. It's probably gonna be more like this, because what we're gonna accomplish here is probably gonna put weld a 3-inch V-band on this. I'm gonna cut some of this back. 3-inch V-band on here, 45 it straight over and it's probably going to be, you know, another 45 to match it to a 90 down, 90 in. This is just, I just had it mocked up, but I'm going to bring it more closer to the headlight so you have more room for the transmission access and stuff like that. We can get all that, we could have everything ordered now. I got a list of what needs to be ordered. This is 3.5 inch aluminum, 3 inch aluminum, 3.5 inch stainless, 2.5 inch stainless. Gen 2 PT68 blah 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 turbo gasket. There's probably some stupid fancy drain you need for this. So I have a drain off my S400 here, and I think I just gotta mill down the sides a little bit because it's a little thick, but the gasket seems to fit. So he might not have to buy one. He might be lucky enough that I have one sitting that I'll never use again, probably. I haven't used this style drain in I don't know how long, because I use the Maven mount now on everything I build. But this car, you don't need a Maven mount because that manifold is like 11 gauge or something. Yeah, so I'll clean this up. This is why I wish I had a lathe, Bridgeport or something of that nature. Even if I had one, I wouldn't know how to use it. I could take some meat off the sides here because it hits the edges of the turbo a little bit. Yeah, I gotta see if I could take some meat off this thing and it not be an issue. Oh, how cool did this come out, huh? This was Drag Week 2021. That was shot by 1320 at Byron on the return road. Great shot. I had to have that framed. I'm gonna build a whole wall of pictures and all my stuff from Drag Week and cool stuff for the car. But gonna do one last thing before we end this video, because I don't know when the radiator's coming, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to have time to show that. But the owner of the car is getting on my case because he's excited and he wants to see cool stuff. So today, or the end of this video, we're gonna mount up his Fueltech and his bezel and his nano and his stuff like that. This is actually a really sweet piece. This thing is heavy. Believe it or not, you can't tell, it's 3D printed. I was very, very surprised. They did a very good job with this. I was shocked. Now, I'm putting an FT550 in the car. We have a shift knob, strain gauge shift knob to put in. And we have a nano, very wide bando 2 to put in. No, I've never really messed with Fueltech. Just, we run Holley, you know, there's no, hold on, sorry, trying to get the camera situated here. Wait. You know, we run Holley. My tuner and buddy Dave runs Holley, so I run Holley. You know, everybody has their things about Fueltech or Holley or Haltech or Motech or yada yada yada. That's fine. Whatever you want to run. I suggest whatever your friends run and whatever your tuner tunes is what you should run. Because videos back, you saw I got Dave's injectors in my car with his harness and everything. Plug and play, boom, boom, done. The one thing I really do love about Fueltech is this. Oh, if you've never gotten a new Fueltech or played with a new Fueltech, it comes with a full color picture description, whole wiring owner's manual. This thing is amazing. If Holley did this, there's like 3 things I ever complain about Holley, and this is one of them. Yeah, I can go online and download it and stuff, but this, it says something right here. You know, it says everything. Look at this. I got CO2 routing, plumbing. It's just so setup, sensor wiring. I mean, full screen setups on how to do everything. TPS. I mean, it's in here. You can't get nicer than this. I'm in love with it just for this. What is this? Oh, this might just be a catalog. 256 channel internal data logger, electronic throttle control, integrated boost controller, integrated gear controller, O2 closed loop, active traction control, sequential injection up for up to 24 injectors, sequential ignition for up to 12 coil unplugs, built-in accelerometer. Well, that's pretty cool. New two-step high-res power management strategy. Customizable splash screen. I don't know what that is. Fueltech emblem and much more. I'll make sure they tell you there's a Fueltech emblem on it. One of my biggest problems with Fueltech is the following they have. Their followers they're like VS Racing Turbo followers. They think it's the best in the world. Nothing could ever come close to competing with it, and they get obnoxious about it. Comes with a little baggie, which is kind of cool. It is cool as hell that this is your computer, your screen, your boost controller, like all 9. That's super cool. My biggest problem is that screen is tiny. Like, people compare a 6.8 Pro Dash, look at, to an iPhone. You know? That's the only thing I don't like about this. I mean, I'm sure there's other things. If I got deep indulged into it, you know, that'll come with time. It's so tiny. See how this fit is. It leaves some to be desired. It's not terrible. Does this thing come with mounting hardware? That'd probably be too much to ask. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do we got here? Woo-hoo-hoo. There's your Fueltech emblem. I don't think he's gonna get that back. USB with a Fueltech written all over it. And a whole bunch of mounting. To use the internal accelerometer available in the FT550, the nuts and rubber mounts must be used to absorb vibration, otherwise the readings will be incorrect. There you go. That looks horrid now. Well, it's not being rigid mounted, you know? It's not like we have it on a steel mount to the steering column of the car. This is being mounted in the dash in plastic and such. So I guess this will be a trial and error thing. You know, if it turns out to be a problem later, maybe we'll address it. I got it all mounted. That is cheap and chintzy. I found some screws and I just cut them down, and since you got to thread it yourself, it didn't matter. But at least that looks nice, huh? Let's see if we got any hardware. We'll put this in the car. That's mounted in there, but I don't have a dash bezel. Let me show you. I know we took one out, so it's got to be at his shop. Oh, you probably can't see that. Hold on. Not bad, huh? I like it. Looks good. Looks nice and factory-ish in there. Get a dash bezel on that, and it'll actually look like something. We got the turbo mounted and everything. It's not on the car right now. We had to take it back off for some things. I got to cut the housing on it, yada, yada, yada. These screws aren't going to be freaking long enough. Dang it, back to the hardware store. I should have taken this with me, but I guess. Well, we did the Fueltech. We just stuck that in the car just to look at it. We got to mount the radiator and fan shroud. And I also have to, this thing is disgusting. I might give it a bath. I also have to move this one fitting. It has to be swapped to the other side because of the electric water pump. And I'll show you why here. There you go. Right on top of each other. So it has to be moved over there. And I also have to mount this. I had them buy the McAmis mount kit for this, as I showed you guys that. But I don't know if it's gonna work. Might end up selling that. What I'm thinking about doing is, so I want this to come out with this. You know, I want to be able to take this front bar off, intercooler off, radiator off, and if anything, catch can or the coolant reservoir off with it. I want it mounted about here. Gets me pretty much in line with my upper hose. I think it'll give me enough on that lower one. And what I think I'm gonna do, I haven't decided how I'm gonna do this yet, is I think I'm gonna tab the bottom, right? Because it has the factory one's got little pins in it. So, oh, there's still coolant in it. Tab the bottom. Let this slide into the tabs. And make some sort of mount to go to each side to bolt it off the intercooler. I think that's gonna be my best way for this. I just have to think of how I want to tab it, because one's in the middle of no man's land. We got the radiator mounted. It's mounted. I have it bolted in the bottom. I'll show you what I did. I cut up the McAmis mount, and I just got shocked. I welded the bar in with a little stub out here, tab, and I welded, you know, bungs, blind hole bungs on the radiator itself. It kind of bothers me because this one is higher than this one, but I had to do that to get it level with don't look at this one, to get it level with this bar here and have it look somewhat right. Oh, not a bad location. I'm gonna make a support. It's a little wiggly, so I'm gonna weld a bung to the top of the intercooler, and I'm gonna weld something here so they can bolt together like this, and that'll be sturdy. Once you get the AN hoses on there, it's not really gonna matter, but I want something sturdy for when the AN hoses are not on there and it just doesn't crack. I'm gonna go eat lunch and then come back and we're gonna figure out a support for this. We're gonna have to tackle that bad boy. We're gonna have to cut the radiator apart to move that. Mount the fan in the shroud, which of course we have to customize. We gotta fit it. That's one thing everybody needs to understand, and a lot of people don't. Nothing fits right out of the package, even though it says it does. We have a mounted radiator. I showed you underneath, right? The fittings underneath. I built this support, and it's pretty sturdy now. Whole intercooler moves with it. Once we get hoses on it and intercooler hoses on it, this thing will be rock solid. Right now, I'm working on trying to figure out. So I cut the dash 16 off the bottom. That was right there. And I'm trying to figure out how this is going to go. And I think I'm going to angle it that way, away from where it normally does, because then I think, you know, the hose will be okay. Oh, I have to weld this on. I have to finish that hose. I got to make an upper hose, but I don't have any more fittings. I have to go see Scotty Wheels and get some more fittings for this and hose. But I feel like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Say hi. Hi. Hi, Remy girl. Yes, who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? That hose looks fun to make, huh? That thing looks like it's angled down. Great, I'll probably have to chop that off and angle it up. I was right. I had to cut that fitting off and move it. I tried to build the hose and the angle of that thing was just horrible. So now I got a good little slope on it. I literally just cut it at an angle and flipped it, and it worked perfectly. The radiator's 100%. Man, another battery dead. I'm getting really, really frustrated with this GoPro nonsense. That battery had 28%. Well, the thing said it had 28%, and it shut it down at 28% for a dead battery. Oh, I'm getting really, really tired of this. I actually have I picked up a GoPro knockoff. I don't even know the name of it, but I'm charging the batteries, and we're going to give that a shot to see how well that does, because this thing is about this close to getting home down the driveway. Back to where I was, the radiator's 100% done. I got the fan shroud all mounted. That had to get some customization. You see there, it didn't quite fit. I had to weld some spacers on the bottom here to keep it off, get new screws for the shroud, and, you know, this, that, and the third. But wire comes out in a nice place for it. I'll be able to come back here, and what I'll end up doing is building a harness that ties, you know, that comes in from the outside of the car that I can tie the water pump and the fan into. So it'll be nice, one nice harness. I gotta take the throttle body back off because the bracket's loose, but we're done. We got throttle out of this thing 100%. Thanks to my buddy J-Rock. He's like, hey, just go inside the pedal and pull it up and just give it a little bend, and it gets perfect. And I did that, and the thing, boom, 100% throttle. I still have to adjust with the TPS, but I could see, I put my phone down on the traction bar, and I can see the throttle blade is sticking straight up. So, whew. Gonna weld the V-band here. Got our oil line ran. I started to make catch can hoses. That should be in this week. I ran the oil line up off the engine. There's enough slack for this. I mean, it's going to rock backwards, but tied it up off the firewall, and our oil drain is also done. I don't know if you can see it down. There you go, down to the pan. I just want to put a heat sleeve over that. Yeah, we're getting there. It's actually starting to look like a car. We'll end this here. So get in your garage, grab a cold drink, get to work on your hot rod. Have a good night, guys.